Kenneth Bradford Clark, Bachelor of Arts.
How does it feel to be the oldest, oldest graduate? I'm happy that it got done. I can tick that off the bucket list.
MITV News Director and anchorman Bruce Green.
Bruce. Thank you, Ken.
My business card should say Ken Clark, itinerant broadcaster. Because it's been my privilege to work in radio and television in many different places around the world, and it's exposed me to other cultures and points of view and a very broad picture of what the world was up to at the time.
It looks awfully shiny new.
Got BA on one side and class of 2024. And recently had an opportunity to get back to the university at Dalhousie and complete some business that's been waiting 63 years. Because in 1961, the CBC came along and said, would you like to work in broadcasting? And I thought, that's a good idea. But what that meant was I had to step away from my studies in that final year. And so I didn't finish my degree. My broadcasting career started in Cape Breton in Sydney on CJCB radio when I was about 10, 12 maybe, in a children's program called Juvenile Jury, hosted by the famous Ann Terry. I was privileged to be able to sing in the original show of Sing Along Jubilee. It was a huge talent resource in the Maritimes at the time, and it was a real pleasure to come out of that with so many others like Anne Murray and Jean McClellan. Lucky to produce Gazette at the time, which is an early evening magazine show. Nobody went anywhere without checking in with Rube Hornstein and the weather, and Don Tremaine and Jim Bennett and Lloyd McGuinness. I went to CJCB in Sydney in the sales department. I didn't know it at the time, but ATV was in the works. And about a year and a half later, I was asked to move from Sydney to Halifax, and along with the other people who did that, we got ATV started in 1972, and it eventually morphed into what's now called CTV. It was a challenge, it was fun, it was interesting, and I feel privileged to have been able to do it. I had some other challenges along the way that were a whole lot different in their content. Because when the mob trashed a TV station, this is what they crashed the TV cameras. When you fast forward to what went on in Fiji, I got there in June of 1999. A year later, that prime minister was ousted in a coup. The TV station was ransacked. So we had that to manage through and get back on the air after all this damage had been done. Cameras were tilted over, computers were thrown out the windows. It was raining that night. I went on a new transmitter in New Zealand.
You've seen it all, you've done it all. In broadcasting, at least.
I'm hoping there's something left to do. One day I got an email from Dalhousie saying, you're in. You can go back to school. And if you take a science course and you do well enough in it, you can graduate in the spring.
Finally!
Thank you.
Good job.
The drumming in the beginning.
You got a standing ovation at convocation.
I was astounded. I found that overwhelming, really. It still touches my heart.
I love you, I really do. I'm really proud of you.
It's a distinction to be the oldest, but is it important? Probably not. What's important is that a long-held goal has been ticked off, and now I have to think about what I might be looking for a job someday. I need to think about what I need to do next.